The person who you know in your office is lazy, they just got promoted. And the people doing the most, staying late, saying yes, constantly delivering, don't move. Not your manager, not HR, not your mentor will ever explain why that happens. Today, I am. What I've seen from being inside those promotion conversations is this. Promotions are not a reward for effort or performance alone. They're a result of things like visibility, perception, and perceived readiness. And the people who get stuck, they are almost always doing the right things aimed in the wrong direction. Here are the 7 patterns why lazy people get promoted and you don't. Pattern 1, they stop. High performers over-refine work. The slides already answer the question. The work is already more than good enough, but they keep going, polishing what nobody asked for, improving what doesn't change the decision. Even at 80%, it is ready. And what I've constantly seen in promotion decisions is this. The extra effort rarely changes how you are perceived at the table where decisions are made. So you end up doing more work without ever changing your trajectory. The lazy person, they spend that last 20% somewhere it actually lands. Perfection aimed at the wrong thing is invisible. Let's see if you recognize yourself here. Where the lazy person is more visible in the business. This is not networking. The lazy person is more visible in the business. Some people are just simply more present across the organization. That lazy Bob who would rather speak to people than getting their work done, they go for a quick coffee break, for a longer lunch, or to just all the social events. They talk across teams. They show up in informal conversations and they exist outside of their job description. And when it comes to that promotion room, I know that that matters more than people realize, because when names come up, familiarity plays a big role. If you stayed focused in your execution and decision makers don't know your name when it matters, even strong performance can become less visible as a result. Now, pattern 3, they don't become indispensable. Here's one most people get completely wrong. High performers often become the person who fixes everything, knows everything. They own everything. And that feels like a strength. But in promotion decisions, it creates hesitation. If we move them, who runs all of this? That's not a compliment. It's a ceiling. People who tend to progress faster, they avoid this by sharing their knowledge early, spreading ownership, making themselves easier to move, not impossible to replace. This is something I'll often focus on when working with high performers who are technically strong but stuck. Now, the next pattern is very common. Lazy people are more likely to say no, whereas high performers often say yes to everything. Extra work, extra responsibility, helping across teams. Saying yes to everything, it creates overload. And overload keeps you in that execution mode. Others are more selective, more intentional. They focus on what actually matters for progression, not what fills a diary. And how do they know this? Because they've been having those conversations. Effort isn't the variable here. Alignment is. Now, one subtle but important pattern is how work is positioned. High performers often try to own execution because it's faster and often higher quality. But people who progress faster, they tend to involve others earlier, distribute responsibility, make work collaborative. It seems lazy, so instead of being seen as someone who executes well, they are seen as someone who leads outcomes through others. Lazy people naturally just want to delegate, and at the end of the day, the manager just wants the work done. And in promotion decisions, that shift is actually significant because leadership isn't about doing everything yourself. It's about getting results through people. So that leads to the next pattern, the perception of efficiency. High performers, they often look busy, stretched, under pressure. Lazy people often look calm, in control, available. And in promotion discussions, this matters more than people like to admit. Because one of the key questions leaders are asking is, can this person handle more responsibility? And if someone looks overloaded, even strong performance doesn't always override that perception. This final pattern is critical. High performers often optimize for doing the work properly, but people who progress faster optimize for what reaches senior leaders, not instead of doing good work alongside it. Because in most organizations, what is visible carries more weight than what is just completed. Managing the impact of your work, not just your effort, that's the whole point. To be clear, this is not about being lazy. Effort is a given. Everyone around you is likely working hard. What separates the people who are moving forward from the people who are stuck is what they aim that effort at. So the question isn't, how do I work harder? It's, how do I shift the subtext in my favor? And if you want to know how, I've put together a free webinar where I go deeper into exactly this. I break down what you need to understand to get promoted. The link to join is in the description. If you give me your time, I do not take that lightly. Subscribe so I know that this is worth building. And next week, I'll discuss why you should stop being good at your job. I'm Jag Dallywell. Let's keep getting into the subtext.